or it's going to remain the same. And here we're kind of simplifying things. Technically speaking, it is possible that Fed could increase it by 50 basis points, or they could decrease it by 25 basis points. But we're going to kind of keep things simple. It's going to be either 0 or 25 plus or 0 or 50 plus. We're going to look at different scenarios and figure out what is that probability market is attaching. Probability of increase or in general change is determined by making the expected average EFFR equal to rate implied by the market. Currently, for September contract, price is equal to, let's see, because the action is going to be taken in September. We could also look at the October contract since there is no meeting on October. That means if the rates are increased, all 30 days we expect EFFR to be at 558. If they are not increased, we expect them at 533. But for now, we're going to do it for a month with a meeting. What was that number? 94.6675. That implies a rate (100 minus 94.6675). So market is expecting an average rate of 533.25. You can pretty much, just looking at that, see what the market thinks. What do you think? Is market attaching a high probability of an increase based on that? It's not much. It's only a quarter basis points above where it is now. That's for the average. Okay. So let's figure out, given that, we can figure out the implied probability. Now, expected average EFFR equals P times 558. Oh, I'm sorry. For 10 days, okay? If it's increased, it's going to be 558. If it's not increased, it's going to be 533. That's for the next 10 days. And we also have 20 times 533, because all of that is before Fed does anything. Okay. So we need to solve that for P. You can do it with algebra. I'm going to give you a nice little tool. I mean, it's not complicated, but in any case, I'm going to give you a nice little tool that's going to calculate that for you quickly. P by making expected average equal to R which is the market implied rate. Okay. If you want, we can solve it, but I'm not going to spend any time. Instead, let me open something I already have. Let's see. This is part of something bigger, so I'm going to actually get rid of I'm working on a general assessment system. Hopefully it's going to be available for spring semester. Let me save this as and let me also post it on Blackboard, so if you want to play with it. Let's see. Actually, let me see if I have another one. No, this is better. Now, here I write everything in terms of basis points. So current FFR is 533. Futures price is 94.6675. I'm gonna, we need the meeting date, 9/20. Okay. Let me see. 533. You have seen that sometimes it says upper bound too low, increase it. If the rates were indeed 508, this says you gotta make the lower bound 25 basis points, maybe 50, something like that. But currently it's 533, so 0. If that white cell goes away, that means, because I calculate the average if it is the lower end, I calculate the average if it's the upper end, and this is the expected using the probabilities. I'm in the wrong place, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. If you have just a black band, and if you're wondering how that happens, I basically make the background of the cell conditional. If a certain cell has a certain value, I make it black, which means this whole thing is basically not visible. It's there, but you just don't see it. Black background, black font, obviously you don't see anything. That sort of stuff is, rather convenient. Or I could have made it, font white or something like that, but I chose that one. 94, 66, 75. 0. That's the meeting date. Currently, I have it set it up as FOMC meets. Yes, okay. So I have 20 days before the meeting, 10 days after the meeting, and those are going to be needed to make the calculations. All I have to do is figure out the probability that's going to make the expected same as the market average, or make this thing 0, the difference. Okay? I can do it the old-fashioned way, data, what-if analysis, goal-seek, make that equal to 0 by changing the probability. So it's only 3%. Let me make that 90 again. Or we can be civilized. I actually have a macro, just like our seeker. In the background, there's something that does the goal seek. Just push on that button. It does it for you. Either way works fine. So market thinks that on Wednesday, there is very little chance that Fed is going to increase the rates. That may or may not be true, but that's what market's opinion. Loosely speaking, you can say 97% of participants in the market are betting that rates are going to remain the same. About 3% are making a gamble, because if they're right, they're going to make a lot of money. Because suddenly EFFR is going to go by 25 basis points. The average is not going to go up that much because it's going to be effective for only 10 days, but it'll be there. This setup also handles when there are no meetings. Just make sure that you write the first of the month. And say that there is no meeting. So, and we're going to use the October contract. It's 94.665. That's only 2%. In this case, it's not a bad idea to get estimates from two sources. As my PhD advisor always loved to say, even though I hated his guts for a lot of different reasons, he was right on this one. I used to ask him, he used to ask me to do stuff, and I always told him, I could do it this way, this way, this way. Which one? He would always say, do all three and take average. Why? Because these are estimates of something, okay? And if you have estimates of something three different ways, the average is almost always better than the best of those estimates. It's law of large numbers. Back in 50s, US loses a nuclear sub. Those days, the Ruskies don't have a nuclear sub yet. I mean, they stole the secrets of the atomic bomb, so they had theirs in 1949, but they didn't have a nuclear sub. And it's lost in international waters, so by salvage law, whoever gets to it, takes it. And they look for the sub, they can't find it, months on end. And of course, Ruskies couldn't find it either. And they're about to give up. And they do one last meeting. There's a Navy captain, submarine captain. He tells people, okay, we got about, I don't know, I'm just making up the number, 50 experts here. I want only two things from each expert. Write down your best guess for the latitude and longitude where you think it should be. Everybody writes it. He takes all those 50 numbers. Average is latitudes, average is longitudes. That gives them a coordinate, and they find it within 100 feet of that.